Hello, welcome to another episode. I'm here in a Mark IV Recaro 2 litre NC1. This is my father's Recaro, the eagle-eyed among you may have spotted this car in the car throttle episode and other episodes on my channel. Now this is another car that's been with the family since new, and it's a lovely car. I have done the sound tube delete, which was on my channel previously, and today we've installed a IL Motorsport silicone hose, and I must say it doesn't make the car massively different. The one thing I will say for it, it makes the throttle response a little bit crisper. So the reason I'm rushing this Mark IV video is because I am due to take this in tomorrow for a new back box fitting, which has the adjustable valve in. You can make it quiet or loud, or you can have steps between the two. So I think that's really going to add a bit of an advantage to my dad. He heard my BBR Super Sport, and normally he says they're too loud, things like that. He prefers like the Cobalt, where it's quiet and easy to hear without being obnoxious or droning. But we saw this exhaust on eBay, snapped it up. It's got the electronics are all plumbed in. It's just waiting to be fitted. It involves cutting the exhaust, and with my health and his age, we won't be doing that ourselves. So that goes in the garage tomorrow. Then he's going to be away for a while, so I won't get to actually hear the exhaust or show you it unless tomorrow the weather becomes more favourable before he has to go home. So I'm looking forward to hearing the difference in the different volume settings. I'm hoping to get you a full catalogue of external sounds and internal sounds, from fully closed valve to fully open. I do hope that is something everybody's interested in. I know there's not many videos on this particular exhaust. So the silicone hose mated with the sound tube delete is an interesting combo. I would say it improves throttle response. It'd be hard without lots of dyno runs to prove any power or torque. All I know is the drivability is a little bit smoother on there. I have seen people comment that they felt the car was quicker. The most common comment was about the throttle response. One thing I will say is, mated with the pipe across air filter, the silicone hose and the sound tube delete, the noise coming into a cabin, especially with the roof up, is much nicer. The reason I have the roof up today is because the weather has been very on and off, and I'm rushing to get this done. And what I don't want to do is have to stop halfway around to put the roof down. So apologies, normally I would have the roof off. The Mark III video is coming. I've got a lot of content coming, it's just time. I'm hoping to do a video with my relatively newborn daughter. I'm hoping to get her first reactions to the Mazda. Now her neck is stronger, but unfortunately she is poorly at the moment. I'm hoping to do a video because Gian have sent me a care package. But one thing I will say, this Mark IV I love to drive. I am lucky enough that my dad owns the Mark IV, I have the Mark III, so I get to experience the best of both worlds. I'd love a Mark IV if I was honest, because the engine, just the engine and the weight reduction is so much nicer. The engine is just nice. It's so responsive compared to the Mark III, and the lightness, it reminds me of being in a Mark I more than a Mark III does. I do prefer the car hands down without the sound tube delete. especially with the roof up. The sound tube delete, when you had the sound tube on with the roof up, it sounded tinny, echoey. I didn't like it, especially when the engine was cold. It sounded awful. Hands down, I prefer both the Mark III and the Mark IV without them turned on. The one other thing I'd like to shout out is the wind deflector in both this and the Mark III are made by, I want to say, a guy called Paul, but I will have to correct this in the edit if not. But he makes the smoked and unsmoked wind deflectors for the Mark III and the 4 for around, I think it's £50-55 for both. And they are hands down better than the standard, and they provide a really good wind deflector experience. They're not quite as good as the MX5 genuine one, the mesh that I had previously, but the mesh one had a leather cover and would rub on the seats and the hoop, and I found that really irritating. So I'll try and get you a link and information on how to contact the chap that makes these. He's a member of the MX5 Owners Club, and I will try and give you some information, but if you are on there, he is in the buy and sell section on that site. If any of you have mods that you would like to share and you live around the Derbyshire area, sort of in between, anywhere in between Chesterfield and Derby, and you'd like me to film your exhaust so you can get an external perspective of it and drive-bys, or you have mods that you think I'd be interested in showing, please just contact me in the comments section. I'd love to meet people. I'm hoping to get out more and more to some of the events. Now my health is very slowly getting to the point where I can go out and have endurance to spend some time out and about. Oh yes, well I remember, I have been working on an intro for the channel. I've just got so many other things to juggle at the moment with my baby, and also my work's ramping up in August, so those that thought I didn't work, yes I do, but I work for myself now, as I couldn't find any employment that would match my health and my working requirements. So I do work for myself as a freelance editor. Definitely quicker than the Mark III. Don't you just love people who drive 35-40 miles an hour in a 50-60 limit and get to a 30 and drive 40-45 miles an hour? It's the wrong way round. It's nothing more frustrating than watching somebody shoot through a 30 limit after crawling through a 50. And please comment in the comment section if you hate that too. I hope it's not just me, I really do, but it seems to be such a common problem, especially on the roads in Derbyshire where I live, where just you'll be stuck behind somebody crawling through a 50 section. They get to the 30 and they actually accelerate and bomb through at 40, and it's just beggars belief. I don't understand it. Or if you're other people and you can explain why, because I think you're more likely to get a ticket in a 30 than you are the 50. I'd love to know the logic, but I'm assuming it's either going to be troll answers or just troll answers. Right, well that's me back home ready for tea. I will see you all in the next episode. Hope you enjoyed this format. Let me know which format you think is better, whether you like me, I can dub it in a booth afterwards like a voiceover, but I don't think it feels as natural, it's not live. Or if you just want me to shut up completely, just tell me and I will film where I don't talk. Okay, see you all later.